मिश्रा मॅडम दिसत नाहीत ना तुम्हाला?
मिश्रा मॅडम अजून नसतील जॉईन झाले.
त्यांनी मला फोन केला होता, कॅन्सल झाली का म्हणून.
मीटिंग कॅन्सल झाली काय? कॅन्सल कशी होती बाई म्हणावं. काय म्हणते बारकी?
काय नाही, घरात जायचं केलं.
आर्गेल मसांगाला हे करतो, मेसेज करतो.
हां चालते, 2च मिनिटात मी शेअर करते. झाली
लिंक
तयार केली लिंक,
झाली
शेअर
काय?
करायचं राहते.
गोवे सर आवाज येतो का माझा?
हा मॅडम येतोय.
क्लिअरली येतो ना?
एकदम एकदम.
ओके ओके ठीक आहे.
ते टेलिग्राम ग्रुप मध्ये नोटीस टाकायला लागलो होतो.
हो ना. लिंक टाकायची ना युट्यूबची?
हा गुणसरांनी टाकली आहे. आता फक्त ते पार्टिसिपंट्स नोटीस टाकतोय की इकडे आपल्या झूम मध्ये शक्य नाहीत ना 500 पेक्षा जास्त, तर ते
हो
बाकी
ना.
तिकडे
सर
युट्यूबला.
टेलिग्राम वर किती रजिस्ट्रेशन आहेत, माय गॉड.
आता टोटल आपण काल लिंक बंद केली ना 3012 झाले.
हो. काय रिस्पॉन्स आहे ना.
मग त्याला ग्रुप वरती मॅडम सारखा टाकावं लागतात पोस्ट बाकीच्या.
हो राईट राईट.
तो अर्गेल मसंद आता शोधावं लागेल. तर मी आता मेसेज टाकला होता जॉईन हो म्हणून.
गोवे सर ते
हा बोला मॅडम.
आर्गेल मसांडा आहे की आर्जेल मसांडा आहे?
आर्गेल.
आर्गेल.
हम्म.
गोवे सर
हा मॅडम बोला. हा बोला मॅडम.
आर्गेल मसांडा आहे की आर्जेल मसांडा आहे?
आर्गेल.
आर्गेल.
हम्म.
गोवे सर
हा मॅडम बोला. हा बोला मॅडम.
आर्गेल मसांडा आहे की
मिस्टर मॅडम,
हा सर
तुम्ही मोबाईल जवळ नाही ना ठेवलेला? तुम्ही कॉम्प्युटरवरून लॉग इन झालायत ना?
हो 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 मोबाईल लांब आहे सर.
हां हां, ते तेवढी काळजी घ्या.
हो
इको
हो
येईल.
हो हो
गुंड सर.
हां सर.
तर परेड सरांना कॉल करा. ते दिसतात का बघा आणि
चालतंय, करतो.
आर्गेल मसांडा आहेत का बघा.
ते मी पण शोधते मसाला. परेड सर आले.
जॉईन केला सर.
गोवे सर,
हा बोला सर.
सगळ्यांनाच ॲड करायचं का? 64 जण आहेत का? आताच नको, 10 मिनिटात वर करायचं?
थांबा की, अजून वेळ आहे. मेसेज टाकला 5 मिनिटात जर
चालेल, ठीक आहे.
करतो म्हणून.
चालेल.
मग आपले प्राचार्य वगैरे आले ना,
हां,
ते सगळे
चालेल.
आला.
ओके. मॉर्निंग परेड सर.
हा, गुड मॉर्निंग सर.
हां,
बोला की सर.
काय निवांत आहे.
कोणतं सर?
हां सर.
आर्गेल मसाल्याचा मेसेज ते
आ-
problem होईल. त्याचं
अर्जुला
नाव
फोन करत होती मी.
त्यानं नाव
अर्जुन.
नाही नाही ऐका. त्याचं नाव
गोवे सर.
आवाज लय स्लो येतोय सर तुमचा.
माझा आवाज कमी आहे?
हां, व्यवस्थित ऐकायला नाही येत सर.
अरे बापरे, नेटवर्क का काय?
आता
नाही, आता
येतोय.
यायला लागला सर. हां, येतोय आता.
त्या अर्जुला फोन करू काय?
वेटिंग रूम मध्ये शोधतो जरा मग करू. गुण सर,
हां,
अर्जंट दिसतो का बघा कुठं?
हो बघा बघतो सर.
हॅलो, जॉईन अर्जुन. जॉईन द मीटिंग.
गुण सर,
हां सर.
त्यांनी आता तुमच्या इथं आम्ही साऊंड जास्त येतो.
हां,
त्यांच्या बाजूला आम्ही साऊंड जास्त येतो.
माझ्या का? फॅनचा येतोय का जास्त सर?
हो हो.
एक मिनिट कमी करतो. हॅलो सर.
ओके, बोला.
हां, ते सापडत नाही आणखी तर मी पण शोधतोय त्यांना.
तो काय म्हणतोय, मला माझं नाव कसं काय? आपण सगळे ऑल इन करूया. ऑल इन करूया.
करू का
करा.
ॲडमिट ऑल?
ऍडमिट ऑल करायचं.
करतोय मग सर आम्ही.
Good afternoon.
हाय, गुड आफ्टरनून.
Good, sir.
Yes, sir.
I have asked Dr. Argil Masanda to raise hand. Please see if he is there.
He is there, and I make him co-hoster. So now he is there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm here already. Thank you for letting me in. Good morning, everyone.
Yeah. Good
Good
morning, everyone.
morning.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier good afternoon because it's already afternoon here in the Philippines. I'm
Yeah, yeah.
sorry.
That's okay.
Dr. Argil,
Yes, sir.
do you want to share PowerPoint text?
I'm sorry.
Do you have any presentation to share with the participants?
Oh yeah, I have a PowerPoint presentation. So later I'm gonna
Oh,
do screen sharing.
okay, okay, sir. Once we will introduce you now, you can share your presentation.
All right, sure, I will. Thank you.
Morning, Arjel.
Hello, brother. Good morning.
Hello, Arjel. Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, good to see you here.
Good. Good, sir.
Yes, sir.
Meanwhile, please, sir,
Sir, your voice is not clear.
uh, I think principal sir had tried to join. Let him.
सर स्क्रीन तिरपी दिसते. गोवे सर,
हो मॅडम.
प्रिन्सिपल सरांची स्क्रीन तिरपी दिसते.
रोटेट झाली सर.
हा रोटेट झालेली आहे. रोटेट झाली आहे. हा.
येस सर.
प्रिन्सिपल co-host.
ओके, आय विल. Yes. I'm making co-host, sir.
Dr. Gond, hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Shall we start?
Uh, just minutes, sir. Because your screen is somehow rotated.
My screen.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What is the problem now?
It's rotated by 90 degrees, sir.
Just
Yes,
Yeah,
sir. Now it's okay.
now okay.
Now it's okay.
Yeah.
Now it's
now.
okay. Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Go away, sir. I will admit all participants now.
Okay.
I request all the participants to kindly mute yourself and also put your cameras off so that you will get a proper bandwidth and there won't be any interruption. Since now we are almost 350 who are connected, so I hope it will be good if you keep your cameras off.
Dr. Gond.
Yes, sir. We can start.
Yes. Shall we start?
Sure.
Gove sir.
We can start.
Sir, what about the questions at the end of the session? They have to write it in the comment box.
They have to write in Google Doc, ma'am.
Okay.
I will provide them the link.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So
We
shall we
can
start,
proceed.
sir?
Yeah.
Madam, your voice is not clear.
My voice is not clear, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, 1 second, sir.
Hold the mic in hand.
Okay, sir. 1 second.
Good, sir.
Yes, sir.
Meanwhile, you should look after the waiting room. Huh?
Yes, yes, I will take care of that. You don't worry.
I'll
Yeah,
join
I
you.
will handle. Yeah, I will handle it totally.
Rashra madam.
Yes, sir. Am I connected, sir?
So let
Can
us
you hear
start.
me now?
Yes,
Can
Yes,
you
yes.
hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Let us start, madam.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Clear?
yes.
Yes,
Yes,
yes, yes, madam.
yes, yes. Hello and good morning, everybody, and even good afternoon to Ajay sir, because he's just now said that it's afternoon already there. So I welcome you all for this international webinar, and it's the third international webinar which is organized by Mahatma Phule ASC College. I, Dr. Leena Mishram, on behalf of Mahatma Phule ASC College, would like to welcome you all for this international webinar jointly organized by Department of Psychology in association with Internal Quality Assurance Cell of the college. The title of today's webinar is Role of Psychology to Fight Against COVID-19 Pandemic. Thank you all for joining us today through the web telecast, that is Zoom, and also the YouTube link which is provided to you. I hope you all are doing well. It's an honor for me to welcome today's resource person, Dr. Azil Masanda, Assistant Professor from Central Luzon State University of Nunos, Philippines. I also welcome our esteemed principal, Dr. Ganesh Thakur sir, Vice Principal, Korani sir, for this webinar. I also welcome eminent guests, respected academicians, research scholars from all over the world. I welcome Head of Psychology Department, Dr. Parikh, IQAC Coordinator, Mr. Sopan Gove sir, Technical Help, Dr. Girish Gun, and all my dear colleagues. Yes, the world is experiencing unprecedented challenges from COVID-19, the coronavirus pandemic, as it spreads across the world, and it spreads the concern, fear, anxiety, and uncertainty for so many of us. Many of us are worried about our loved ones, of getting infected, of falling sick, of being quarantined, and also of losing our jobs. And I also know that we are all going through this tough time together. It is important to understand that we are not alone, and there are practical, healthy ways to cope up with the situation. And that's how mental health is so important for all of us. Sometimes we feel like talking to a doctor or even to a counselor. Looking at this need of time, our principal has
unanimously decided to organize one such webinar. And we are very lucky enough to have with us Dr. Argel Masanda, who is also University Counselor from Philippines, who will be speaking to us on role of psychology to fight with COVID-19 pandemic. It is our extreme pleasure to have with us Honorable Principal Dr. Ganesh Thakur sir, ex-secretary of Reyes Shikshan Sanstha, a prominent academician and excellent administrator, a dynamic personality, honored with numerous prestigious awards like Konkan Ratna Puraskar, Raigad Bhushan Puraskar, Best Principal Award by University of Mumbai. Under his leadership, the college has received A grade by NAC and also the Best College by University of Mumbai. I request Honorable Principal Dr. Ganesh Thakur sir to deliver a welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Good morning to all. At the outset, I pay my tribute to great social reformer and visionary educationist Mahatma Jyotiba Phule and Karmavir Bhaurao Patil for their dedicated service to the masses. Dignitaries present online for this international webinar. Resource person, Dr. Argel Masanda, University Counselor, Central Luzon State University of Nunos, Philippines, directors, principals, vice principals, head of departments of various institutes, coordinator of Internal Quality Assurance Cell, Mr. Sopan Gove, organizing secretary, Dr. Purushottam Parit, all the participants from India and various countries across the globe, faculty members, research scholars, and dear students. I am extremely delighted to welcome you all on behalf of Mahatma Phule Arts, Science and Commerce College, Panvel, for this international webinar organized by Department of Psychology in collaboration with IQAC on the topic, Role of Psychology to Fight Against COVID-19 Pandemic. Friends, our college is affiliated to University of Mumbai and is run by Reyes Shikshan Sanstha, which is one of the largest and leading educational institute in Asia. Our Sanstha basically works for overall development of lower strata of the society, and 95% branches of Sanstha are located in rural part of Maharashtra. Our founder, Bhaurao Paigonda Patil, is honored with Padma Bhushan Award from central government and Doctor of Letters degree from Pune University for his outstanding contribution in the national development. Our college was established in 1970 with a vision to provide quality education to all classes of the society. We are marching ahead with the same principles to achieve excellence in the field of higher education. Academic year 2019-20 is the golden jubilee year of our college. As in June 2020, college will complete 50 years to its establishment. Our outstanding achievements in the recent past are A grade in third cycle of NAC accreditation with CGPA score of 3.18, Best College Award from University of Mumbai, Karmavir Puraskar from our parent institution, Government of Maharashtra's successive prizes in Jagar Janivancha Abhiyan project, ISO 9001-2015 certification from International Accreditation Forum. Albert Einstein said that there is always an opportunity in every difficulty. We worked on the same line and we found that organization of webinars in lockdown period is the best opportunity to bring all the academicians and research scholars on the same platform through online mode, which will also facilitate the use of technology. We successfully organized 15 webinars, which included 2 national and 2 international webinars based on important topics related to impact of COVID-19 pandemic. This is the 3rd international webinar organized in lockdown period. This was possible only due to Dr. Argel Masanda of Philippines, who accepted our invitation as well as the topic given to him for delivering inspiring speech as a resource person of the webinar. Dear academicians, COVID-19 has achieved pandemic status worldwide, but countries battling this crisis have not yet fully explored its psychological impact. People are in a state of constant fear and deep anxiety, as there is no final word on how long this pandemic will linger on. People are now told to make up their minds to live with this virus for a long time without any clarity. Mental trauma and threat infection are now firmly enriched in the minds of people, and it is most likely to have an adverse impact on the mental health of the sufferers and their well-being. No doubt, COVID-19 is killing people daily worldwide, and its effects on the body are known to one and all. But people will also die because of its psychological impact, slowly and silently, and that will not make any headlines. At an early stage, the World Health Organization had issued guidelines for managing the problem from both biomedical and psychological point of view. As per its guidelines, while preventing and medical action is the most important aspect, in addition, it is also important to monitor adverse psychological impacts and psychopathological symptoms during the pandemic and thereafter as well. Since the World Health Organization has expressed that COVID-19 is going to stay longer and has declared it as likely endemic, the world will see a new order of mental health practice. Evidence-based approach to policy and research provides a pragmatic standpoint in establishing interventions and guidelines for mental health areas. Therefore, new guidelines and methodologies to practice in the post-COVID-19 era will be established accurately and appropriately with the help of evidence-based approach. COVID-19 has cast its effect on the hazard of multitude of psychosocial outcomes such as anxiety, depression, social isolation, loneliness, and self-inflicted injuries, whether physical or emotional, and amounting to suicide. The evidence-based approach to justify the effects of these problems is to deliver carefully developed psychosocial interventions that operate on the feedback of standardized outcome measures. The workers separated from the physical rituals of moving from place to place, such as going to work, it is much more difficult to keep routines and maintain work standards. For those able to work from home, the boundary between workspace and personal life gets diffused, and this can break down carefully defined boundaries. For those who do not have access to stable internet and video capability, they have not only lost connection to others, but are being excluded from the growing list of online activities and group meetings that are happening. The visuals of mass exit of migrant laborers from the cities is a saga of depression, unfaithfulness, and abandonment. They work tirelessly day and night so that others can sleep comfortably. But when they needed helping hand, it was missing. This lack of sensitivity to their needs and desperation to reach their homes has added to the stress level and feeling of helplessness and hopelessness. This trauma of uprootedness is going to disturb their minds for a long time. Times like these are stressful. Information continues to being fed to us through digital media, print media, and our family and friends. Therefore, minding our minds becomes an incredible challenge for all of us. The COVID-19 pandemic has brought its own set of fears arising from insecurities, which include health insecurity due to the risk of being infected and infecting others, especially when the transmission mode of COVID-19 is not fully established. This consistency in the buildup of fear can lead to long-term consequences for individuals, families, and communities at large. The fight against corona is a long one. As per the famous saying, give light, and the darkness will disappear of itself. Therefore, taking care of our health and well-being as well as of those around us by adhering to simple measures can make us victorious in this fight against COVID-19 pandemic. I am confident that Dr. Arjel Masanda will guide us in psychological point of view how to fight against COVID-19 pandemic using his experience, skills, and knowledge. I am really grateful to all the participants for their overwhelming response to this webinar too, which crossed the figure of 3,000. Let me thank you all from core of my heart for your strong support and cooperation. Before I conclude, once again, I welcome you all for this international webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for this warm welcome and a welcome note. I now request Mr. Sopan Kove, IQAC coordinator, to introduce the resource person of the day, Dr. Argil Masanda, sir.
Thank you, madam.
Yes.
Good morning, one and all. It is my extreme pleasure to introduce the resource person of the present international webinar on role of psychology to fight against COVID-19 pandemic. We are privileged to have an eminent scholar among us as a resource person for this webinar, Dr. Argil Masanda. Dr. Argil Masanda has educational qualification as Master of Science in Guidance and Counseling. He is doing his PhD in psychology. He has worked as assistant professor in Psychology and Guidance Center at Guidance Service Unit, Office of Student Affairs, Central Luzon State University, Philippines since June 2014. He teaches psychology-related subjects such as general psychology, psychological assessment, theories of personality, child and adolescent development, guidance and counseling, personhood development, and family life and Filipino value system. He also provides consultation hours to the students about their academic performances, counseling services to college students and special groups. Dr. Masanda serves as Information Service Coordinator by planning, organizing, and implementing information services for colleges across the world. Further, he serves as an advisor of peer facilitators group by conducting weekly meetings and training and supervising activities of the group. Dr. Masanda serves as a student organization coordinator by providing group guidance to all the recognized students organizations. He has also delivered series of lectures in module of psychological assessment and series of personality among examinees for the Board of Examination for psychometricians. He also works as a private practitioner, customer service executive, and guidance counselor. Dr. Masanda has worked as a resource speaker, subject matter expert, workshop facilitator, and plenary speaker during past years. Besides, he is an active researcher having paper and book publications in reputed national and international journals of international repute. He has received many awards such as Best Research Award, Outstanding Research Teacher, Best Guidance Counselor, Outstanding Club Advisor. He is an active member of various bodies active in Philippines and worldwide. Thank you, sir, being with us today for this international webinar as a resource person. We are looking forward to your guidance and scholarly insight on the topic of today's webinar. Thank you very much.
There. Hello. Good
Yes,
morning.
it's dark over there.
Yeah, I'm not so sure why. It's earlier. It's okay, but now it's. I don't know
Maybe
what
you should
happened.
sit facing towards the light.
We have the light actually over there and over here, but I don't know what happened to my video. But anyway, I have a PowerPoint presentation that I can share to all of you. Maybe I'll just start sharing my slides.
Dr. Masanda, something there is on your camera. So if you remove it, your
No,
face
there's
can be
nothing in my
visible.
camera actually. Earlier it was okay, but when I turned it on, I don't know what happened.
Okay, okay, you can go ahead.
Okay. So you see
Just
my
make a,
screen now?
yeah,
Yes,
we
sir.
can see, and just make a, PowerPoint slideshow.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me proceed now. I'm so sorry about my video. I don't know why it's so dark, even though it's actually light here. Okay. Is my sound okay?
Yes, yes. Okay.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
that's good to know. So yeah, let me start by saying that I feel so fortunate to be here with all of you, and definitely a privilege to serve again with Mahatma Phule. December 2019, last year, I was with them, and it was one of the greatest pleasures and honors in my life so far, especially of my professional career. So today, I'll be speaking to you about the role of psychology to fight against COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, so thank you for the introduction. Okay, let me start by having some acknowledgement first with some people. Okay, to start with, definitely thank you so much, Dr. Ganesh Thakur, the principal of Mahatma Phule, for the invitation. Okay, and for organizing such event like this, as well to Dr. Purosho Tamparit, okay, a dear friend of mine, and as well thank you for Mr. Sopan Gobe and Dr. Lina Meshram for the technical support. And lastly, but not the least, all my friends who showed support and offered prayers for me for this event. Okay, so I'll be speaking with you for at least an hour. I'm gonna do my best to make it less than that. Okay, I have here some outline of my report, or of my presentation with you rather. Okay, we have four parts. Okay, first is the introduction, wherein I'm going to show to all of you what is actually the role of psychology here in this pandemic. Okay, and the next part would be about psychology and the COVID-19. Okay, the third part would be fighting the pandemic through psychology, and the last part would be helping yourself and others as specific factors or techniques in dealing with this pandemic. Okay, so anyway, before I proceed, I always like my presentation to be as interactive as possible. So I see that there is 496 participants over here. So when I start in my introduction, I'm gonna pose some questions, okay? Because I'd like it to be interactive, and some of you might want to participate by unmuting and saying your answer to my simple questions. Is that okay? Okay. So let me start by saying, okay, or by asking a quick survey for all of you. Okay, which face comes closest to how you feel this morning? So I have here 7 smileys, okay, from 1 to 7. Anyone who would like to share his answer or her answer? I cannot see the chat box, so I cannot see if someone is answering there. Okay, I
Five.
hope. Oh, there, thank you. So what's your score?
2,
2. Okay, thank you.
one, 2, 1,
Okay. Thank you for those who are answering. So I hear 1 and 2, and some is 5. I hope those with 5 will be higher later. Okay. How about your work life? Anyone?
3,
Two.
3, 2.
5,
Okay. Just bear with me. I'm
Four.
gonna get with my point eventually.
2,
Thank you. Thank you.
3.
Okay. I really don't know what's wrong with my camera. It's kind of dark in
Two.
here, but I see my face. It's better. Anyway, let's continue. How about your love life? Love life?
Four.
4. Okay. That's fair.
Two.
Okay.
4,
Two.
1,
Four.
I have here
3,
some more.
Four.
Okay. Anyone who would like to answer 7?
3,
No, sir.
3,
No.
I'm happy there's none.
1 for love life.
Okay, thank you. Okay. For the next one, this would be specific for those who are married, okay, for the married people, because I'm going to be asking about your sex life, okay? I'm sorry, just bear with me. You have to answer me this.
No number there.
4.
4, okay. 2,
One,
okay. Take note, the lowest
One,
score
sir.
is 7, not 10,
three,
okay?
2.
1.
2. Sir, 2.
I'll
4.
have to hear those
2,
answers.
sir.
Thank you, thank you. Next, how about your financial life?
3.
3.
2,
4, sir.
4.
3, 3, 3. 4, sir. 4.
4. 4.
All right, I'm happy to hear that, okay?
7.
Now, last question. Putting all things together, including those that I did not ask, how do you assess your life?
4. 4.
4. 4.
3, sir,
4.
3.
Sir, 4. 2, sir. 4.
4.
Fine. Oh,
4.
okay.
4.
2, sir.
Thank you. Okay, so yeah, you may mute now your mic. Thank you so much for everyone who participated. Again, I apologize. I don't know why it's so dark in here. You can't see my face. But anyway, so the answers that I'm seeing or that I heard are between 1 to 4, and that is good. Okay. Why did I ask for this? Okay. It's because I'd like to assess your well-being. Okay. And we want your well-being to be at least between the 1, 2, 3. Okay. That is our goal because psychology is all about having good well-being for everyone. That is the main goal of psychology, for everyone to have a good well-being. And when we talk about well-being for everyone, we want it to be at least on the 1, 2, 3. For those who answered on the 4 or 5, we hope that at the end of this webinar, at least those who have the 4 or 5 will be elevated to 3 or 2 perhaps. And anyway, I'm happy to not hear any 6 and 7 answer. Okay, so let's define what psychology is, since now that we said that the goal of psychology here is to uplift the well-being of everyone. Psychology is chiefly defined as the scientific study of human behavior and mental processes. Earlier, I saw a lot of participants with background in psychology, okay, but not everyone has is not majoring in psychology. And I'm happy to welcome you all. At least we have a lot of participants here from other fields. Okay, so now my question is, how do we use it to fight COVID-19 pandemic? So now that we define psychology as it is, how do we use it to fight the pandemic? Well, it's quite simple, just like what we mentioned earlier, by uplifting everyone's mental health. Okay, why do we talk about mental health? Well, Dr. Thakur, Ganesh Thakur earlier have a very good introduction about how COVID-19 is affecting everyone's mental health. Okay, and that's our focus when we talk about psychology. Okay, because we are all about well-being. Okay, here let us define mental health according to World Organization in 2018. It is a state of well-being in which the individual realizes his or her own abilities, copes with the normal stresses of life, works productively and fruitfully, and makes contribution to the community. If you're going to look at literature, there are a lot of definitions of what mental health is. But among all the definitions that I have seen, this is the best for me. Okay, so notice that I highlight here some words that are definitely crucial when it comes to maintaining mental health. Now, again, another question for me. Where does it lie in this pandemic? So since we talk about psychology, it's all about well-being, and well-being is having a good mental health. Now, where does this lie in this pandemic? Since the COVID-19 is more like a physical disease, okay? It's a physical, not something psychological. Let me see. Okay, let us see rather. Okay, here, the first wave according to the Imaginable Future, it's an organization. Physical health crisis was the first wave, okay? And the second wave is economic crisis. I think both Philippines and India is now experiencing the economic crisis, okay? And the third wave is about mental health crisis. It's the people who will get affected. probably we are now leaning towards the mental health crisis. That is why now more than ever, and especially in the coming future, we see the value of psychology in helping each and everyone, not just the Indians, not just the Filipinos. It's everybody in the whole world, because just like what Dr. Takur mentioned, this is affecting everyone here in our planet. Okay, so now let me show you some uh, literature about mental health and COVID-19. Okay, in some studies, okay, it says here that coronavirus induced considerable degree of worry and concern in the population at large among certain groups, in particular, such as adults, care providers, and people with uh, underlying health conditions. In the public mental health terms, the main psychological impact to date is elevated rates of stress or anxiety. Okay, level of loneliness, depression, and harmful alcohol and drug use and self-harm or suicidal behavior are also expected to rise. This is part of the third wave that we're talking about. Okay. Now, issues of service access and continuity for people with developing or existing mental health conditions are now also a major concern, along with mental health and well-being of frontline workers. Definitely, that is expected to happen among everyone. Now, flattening the mental health curve is the next big coronavirus challenge. Okay, definitely, this will be a big problem for everyone. Okay, just like what we mentioned earlier, the third wave will be about coronavirus having affecting the mental health of everyone. Okay, when compared to the 2018 survey, okay, US adults are now 8 times more likely to meet the criteria for serious mental distress. And one third of Americans, since this research by Rothenberg just last month of May, okay, are done in the US. So I'm using this as a benchmark for us, okay? One third of Americans report clinically significant symptoms of anxiety or clinical depression. And its impact on our mental health may be deadly too. Some recent projections suggest that deaths stemming from mental health issues could rival deaths directly to the virus itself. The latest study from the Wellbeing Trust, a nonprofit foundation, okay, estimates that COVID-19 may lead anywhere from 27,644 to 154,037 additional US deaths of despair as mass unemployment, social isolation, depression, and anxiety drive increases in suicides and drug overdose. Okay, this is in US alone, and this is quite alarming. Imagine how many people will die because of mental health issue. Okay, and while all population groups are affected, this crisis is especially difficult for students, particularly those pushed off from college campuses and now facing economic uncertainty, adults with children at home struggling to juggle work and homeschooling, and frontline health workers risking their lives to save others. Okay, those are definitely one of the problems that we are uh, uh, facing in the coming soon. Okay, we'll have here some psychological impact of the COVID-19. This is still part of the preliminary that we have. Okay, emotional impact of the pandemic, experience anxiety on a daily basis. I'm just gonna run through this quickly because Dr. Takur have already mentioned this earlier. Okay, we are apprehensive of leaving our homes. We feared of going to marketplaces, concerned for the health of their family members, felt underconfident with the current infection control measures. And I think this is true in the entirety of the world. Okay, feeling anxious on a daily basis, elevated levels of fear were noted among people with 35 years of age and up, okay, and above. Meanwhile, increased levels of anxiety due to use of social media among people below 35 years had resulted in avoidance behavior. There was a higher tendency for graduates to fear for the safety of their health and even if they are home. Okay, and last, behavioral changes due to the pandemic. Yeah, there. Okay, yep, both of them. Yeah. There. So, okay, finally you can see me. Okay, thank you. Now, some have considered feigning sickness to avoid going to workplaces and educational institute or even quitting their job because of the pandemic. Reduce physical contact and visits to healthcare facilities. Okay, canceled major plans. Okay, I'm pretty sure majority of you have canceled a lot of plans due to the pandemic. Okay, and washing hands more often and wear masks. Okay, and panic buying. Okay, since majority of you earlier don't have problem with their finances. Okay, I hope not every one of you did the panic buying. Okay, and now since our goal here is how can psychology help in flattening the mental health curve. Okay, since we mentioned that the third wave of this pandemic is about mental health crisis, so how are we going to flatten the curve? Philippines is not yet successful in flattening the curve of the COVID pandemic, meaning on the first wave. Okay, the second wave we are now experiencing it, and I'm pretty sure the third wave we're gonna experience it a little sooner. Okay, so here Rothenberg and Gruber have three suggestions on how are we going to flatten the curve. Okay, the first is, okay, this is the specific psychological techniques or interventions that we can use in order to fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. First is to reimagine mental health care. I'm gonna go through this one by one later in a little while, but for now we have to reimagine mental health care. We have to go from the traditional up to the new normal mental health care. Okay. Second, we have to democratize mental health. Okay. Democratizing mental health. What does it mean? We have to make mental health available for all, not just for those with mental health disorders. Okay. Because everybody experience mental health issues from time to time, and that's for sure. Okay. It's just like physically you experience headache from time to time, but that doesn't mean that if you go to into a doctor, that means you have a cancer in your brain. Okay, it's just a normal physical thing. Just like when it comes to mental health, feeling sad every now and then is a normal thing. Okay, especially if you have reason to be sad. Okay, and the third one, okay, taking a proactive approach. Okay, so we have to take action now when it comes to flattening the mental health curve. Okay, so we have three. Okay, we have three approaches. We have to imagine mental health care. We have to democratize the mental health itself. Okay, and we have to take proactive approach in dealing with the third wave, the mental health crisis. Now let's go to this one by one. In reimagining the mental health care, okay, evidence-based therapies like the CBT, okay, cognitive behavioral therapy, or DBT, the dialectical behavior therapy, are largely not available to patients in person due to physical distancing mandates and continuing anxieties about the virus exposure in public places. Okay, of course, CBT and DBT have to be done face to face, but with the new normal, it's kind of difficult to do it. Okay, and a further complication, physical distancing interferes with support networks of friends and family. Okay, since we want to be physically distant with people, okay, so that we can curb the pandemic. Okay, these networks originally allow people to cope with major shocks. Now they are, if not completely severed, surely, okay, it is diminished. Okay, so what do we do? How are we going to reimagine the mental health care? Okay, the traditional model of how and where a person receives mental health care must change. Okay, so basically what we're talking now is a telehealth therapy session. Okay, meaning we're going to use technology basically. Okay, we can do telecounseling, meaning of course as a practitioner I do a lot of telecounseling since March. Okay, it's almost every week I have a client, okay, over phone, over chat, over Facebook, about their mental health concern. Okay, and web-based courses on the science of happiness. Okay, specifically positive psychology. If you're going to search in the internet, in the web, about the science of happiness or positive psychology in specific, you're going to see a lot of free websites there that offer courses about science of happiness. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, it's Princeton University who offer free courses now about the science of happiness. open source web-based tools, okay, wherein you can access some questionnaires for you to assess how well you are doing with the things that you're going through, okay, and self-paced web-based interventions. There are a lot now of websites that offer self-pacing, okay, on how are you going to handle your anxieties, your stresses, the extreme sadness that you are experiencing. Okay, so telehealth therapy sessions is the umbrella term that we use to describe nowadays mental health care. Okay, so I'm pretty sure some of you there are also doing the same. I remember last December 2019 when I deliver a lecture in Mahatma Phule. My topic is also about mental health. I did some research about mental health in India, and it's not quite a good thing, okay? Because if I remember it correctly, there are only 7,000 psychiatrists in the entirety of India. Okay? And yeah, that's very few relative to the population of India, which I think is about a billion. Okay. Now, let's look at the second one, democratizing the mental health. Okay.
बघ अंग्रेजी माणूस बोल विदेशी
I think there's a mic left unmute. Okay.
अमेरिकन नाही पण विदेशी आहे.
Okay. Kindly unmute your mic. Kindly mute it. Sorry. Okay.
Mute your mic, please. Mute your mic.
Okay, please mute your mic. Okay, there. Thank you. Okay, let's continue. Democratizing mental health. This means abandoning the notion that the only path to treatment is through a therapist or psychiatrist who dispenses wisdom or medication. Instead, we need other kinds. Okay, and this is collaborative and community-based partnership. Okay. Okay, so I know earlier we mentioned we have to make it a telehealth counseling, but now we're having community-based partnership. Okay, of course, it can be done. Okay, how? Given the known benefits of social support as a buffer against mental distress, we should enhance peer-delivered or peer-supported interventions like peer-led mental health support groups where information is communicated between people of similar social status or with common mental health problems. These peer programs have great flexibility. After orientation and training, peer leaders are capable of helping individual clients or groups in person, online, or via phone. This is like a group chat, okay? It's like a group chat of between people who are experiencing similar mental health problems. Okay, meaning we have to make mental health available for everyone. So how are we going to do that in the new normal? Have some group chats. Okay, there are a lot of platforms, Facebook, for example. Okay, Viber, WeChat. There are a lot of platforms. All we need to do is just to make something about it. We have to take action. Okay, if you believe that you are experiencing something, okay, open up to people. You're gonna be surprised. You're not the only one feeling something like that. And from that, you can go on further. Okay, probably you can help. You can make a peer support group. Okay, by online. Okay, by using whatever platform that is convenient for everyone. Okay, and last one. Okay, taking a proactive approach. How are we going to make a proactive approach when it comes to mental health crisis? Okay, psychology must promote mental health, okay, at the population level with initiatives that try to benefit everyone rather than focusing exclusively on those who seek treatment. I think that is the problem. I remember when I had my lecture in Mahatma Phule last year, seeking mental health care leads to some kind of stigma. Like, for example, if I'm going to go with a psychologist or psychiatrist, does that mean that I'm crazy? Okay, definitely the answer there is not. We're not crazy. It's just that we have to normalize seeking help when it comes to our mental health. Later on the last part, I'm gonna share with you some practical tips, okay, or procedures on how are we going to help ourselves reach better mental health. Okay. Now, a specific technique on how we're going to promote mental health at the population level. First, we have to track mental health on the population level just as intensely as the COVID-19 is tracked and modeled. we have to have a statistic saying how many of the population are actually experiencing depression, anxiety, and things like that. Okay, we have to have a baseline data. How many of these people in my place, in my country, is actually having a mental health problem because of or due to COVID-19 pandemic. Next, data must be collected, okay, then analyzed. Findings must be shared across disciplines, psychiatry, psychology, epidemiology, sociology, and public health, just to name a few, okay, so that everyone can have their contribution on how to improve the mental health of everyone, okay. And lastly, okay, COVID-19 has revealed the inadequacies of the old mental health order. A vaccine will not solve these problems, and changes to mental health paradigms are needed now. And one of those, just like what I mentioned, is um, you have to seek help. Okay, you need to go out of your comfort zone and do something for yourself. Okay, help is always available. You just have to reach out. Okay, that is what we believe. Okay, and that is actually true. Now, this is actually the last part of my presentation, but it's going to take me some few minutes to discuss taking care of your mental health. Okay, since there's not many psychiatrists or psychologists available in our reach. Okay. But that doesn't mean that we cannot help ourselves when it comes to taking care of our mental health. These are some of the practical tips that I'm going to share to you. These are the things that are included in my upcoming book. I'm going to show you. Okay, so I have here some strategies to promote a flourishing well-being, and that's basically taking care of your mental health. First, stress management. Okay, you have to manage well your stresses. Next, you have to make an assertive communication. You have to manage your anger well. Okay, you have to start doing some positive thinking. Okay, you have to improve your spirituality. Okay, later I'm gonna discuss what I mean by spirituality. Okay, next is to have a good social support. Okay, and some meditation technique, especially when things are becoming overwhelming. Okay, I'm gonna go through this one by one. Okay, I'm gonna do my best to deliver this quickly as possible. Okay, first, stress management. Okay, the first step in managing our stress, especially during this pandemic, is to identify the stress trigger and its cause. Okay, for example, one of the stresses that people are experiencing right now is the lack of money, okay, especially for third world country like the Philippines and India. Okay, lack of money. Now my question is the lack of money the trigger or the cause? Okay, some of you might say this is the cause because I don't have money, so because of that I cannot eat, I cannot help my family, because of that I'm stressed. Okay, okay. Yeah. Some of you might say it's the trigger. Okay. And if you're saying that lack of money is the trigger, you are correct. Okay. Lack of money is just the trigger. It's not the cause. So what is the cause? The cause is you. Okay. The value that you put so much on money. Okay. Take note, in whatever situation that you are in, it is always you who is the cause of your problem. In every situation that you are in, you have at least two choices: to react or not. But the point is you reacted. Therefore, you are the cause of the problem. A thing becomes a problem once you have appraised it to be problematic. Okay? And it's a good thing actually that you are the cause of your problem, because that means you can manage it. If the problem is other, it's outside you, it's beyond who you are, it's quite hard to manage it. For example, I'll give you an example of what makes someone stressed. They would say it's their boss. Okay, it might be their supervisor, their manager. If you're telling me that your manager is the cause, now you come to me for a mental health care. Now, what do you expect me to do? You want me to kill your boss so that you won't have a stress anymore? Of course, we can't do that. Okay, what I will do is to help you manage and have a good proactive reactions to what triggers you to become stressed. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you identifying stress trigger and its cause is the first step. The stress trigger is always the situation, okay, whatever it is, and the cause is always you. Okay, you have to keep that on your mind so that you can manage your stress well. Second, befriend or tame your demons. Okay, I'm not talking here about, you know, the demons from hell, but when I talk about demons, I'm talking about these deep-seated issues that you have within you. Okay, there are things that makes us angry. Okay, and then we throw it to people. Okay, I am angry because someone told me that I am ugly, for example. Now what are you going to do? You're going to get angry at the people, and then you're going to get stressed, and also that person you get angry at becomes stressed because of you. But if you really look at it psychologically speaking, you have an issue about yourself that you haven't tamed yet, you haven't solved yet. Okay, that's the demon that I'm talking about. These deep-seated issues that you have. Okay. Okay. So I'll give you an example, another example on how to befriend or tame your demon. So I'm 30 years old now. Okay, I'm turning 31 in 2 days time. Okay, my birthday is on June 14. Okay, I was already success. I am already successful in my field, I suppose. I was able to publish 2 books already, and one of my professors, okay, got angry of me because I was able to publish a book and she was not. So it turned out when we were discussing, okay, she said that she wants to have her book, her own book as well. But now that I have published my own, it's gonna show up that she plagiarized me instead of me plagiarizing her. When in fact, it's not about plagiarism, it's about making your own book. Okay. So meaning the problem is not in me, it's in her. You get me? Because one of her demons is that frustration to have a book, but she haven't, and she's already 65 years old. I'm 30 years old. Okay, so that's the kind of demon that we're talking about. These issues that you have within yourself that makes you stressed most of the time. Okay. Next, choose your battles wisely. What do I mean by choosing your battles wisely? Well, for one thing, most of the people are always angry at someone or something because they always, dispense emotions to someone else. You have to choose your battle wisely. You have to choose where and who and to invest your emotions. Your emotions are very precious, okay? You have to keep it to yourself and to the people that matters to you the most. Therefore, if you're gonna get angry, if you're gonna get stressed, is it with someone important to you? The answer is yes, then good. Then if it's not someone so important to me, then why stress? Okay, getting stress is commonsensical. Nobody is stress-free. Okay, according to Hans Sale, the father of stress research, the only person who doesn't get stress is a dead person. So therefore, every day we experience stress, especially nowadays because of the pandemic. So you have to choose your battle wisely. Okay, and last one, seek help. It's quite simple. Okay, when things becomes overwhelming to you, seek help. Okay, I mean, don't we all need help? I do. Okay, everybody needs help from time to time. Okay, now next, developing assertive communication. Okay, I am not so sure because there's a cultural underpinning when it comes to assertiveness. But here in my country, in the Philippines, being assertive is perceived to be not a good thing. You know, if you are direct in your ways to talk with people, people might think that you are what's that, braggart, okay, that you are boastful. But in reality, being assertive is a good thing, okay? It helps you manage your stress as well, okay? And it uplifts your well-being. So how are we going to do that, okay? First, use appropriate assertive technique like the I statements and the sandwich approach. Okay, I statement means when you talk to someone, okay, about your problem, about the issues that you might be having, okay, you have to state it using I. It's me, okay? Like for example, and sandwich technique or the approach, that means you have to deliver your message in an I statement, state the negative, the problem, okay? State sorry, it's the positive, okay? State what's good in the situation, state the problem, okay, and end it with a positive note. That's the sandwich approach that we're talking about. Okay, I'll give you an example of this. In our office, way back in 2016, I was the office secretary. So during our meeting, I was noting, okay, and then after that, I shared something during our meeting, and my dean, okay, dismissed me. So I really didn't feel good about being dismissed about my opinion back then. So I said, okay, I need to to share, okay, and express this feeling to my dean. Otherwise, we won't be having a good working relationship. You get me, right? Okay, so how are we going to do that? Use the I statement. So when I spoke to my dean, I said, Madam, okay, I appreciate the way you manage your deliver and manage our meeting. That's the positive. Okay, now the negative. Okay, however, when I was speaking, okay, I felt like I was, okay, etc., etc. However, okay, I really believe that I'm still young about the field, in our field, and I would like to learn more from you. So please let me know how can I improve further. Okay, so this is the sandwich approach that we're talking about. The I statement is all about you. Okay, the you statement is like this. Because of what you said earlier during our meeting, I really don't feel good about me. Okay, that's the you message. If you're going to talk to someone using a you message, it won't be a good conversation. Okay, unless it's an I statement. You have to own your feeling. Take note what I said earlier. It is you who's affected, not the other person. So you have to take care and own what you feel, no matter what it is. Okay, I hope I'm clear with it. Next, perform some behavioral rehearsal, okay? Because I know assertive communication is not a good thing, okay? I mean, it's not an easy thing. Definitely, it's a good thing, but it's not quite easy. It might be a big leap for someone who just first use it. So make some behavioral rehearsal, probably on your head. Write your script, okay? Face in the mirror and see how you look when you deliver your message, something like that. You can always do that. Okay, and practice saying no. Why not? Okay, you have to start small. Okay, in practice saying no, and you may also use your body language. Okay, for the body language, assertive body language meaning, say for example, if someone is talking and you're not agreeing, okay, you may twinge a little bit your face, okay, so that the person would see that you are not agreeing with what he's saying, but you're not cutting the person for his speak, okay, because that would be rude to do so. Okay, so practice saying no from time to time, especially you may start it with people that are close to you. Okay, use some body language and you have to start small. Okay, meaning small, you have to start with someone you're close with, probably your best friend at work. Okay, then next to your supervisor, and then to your manager. Okay, things like that. Okay, now next, anger management. Okay, so I'm pretty sure majority of us here experienced anger at least for the last month, or for the last 3 months, or for the last 6 months. Okay, we have experienced anger for whatever reason. Okay, but anger is not entirely a negative emotion, actually. Okay, anger can be used positively. Okay, can be used to discover something about who you are, about you. Okay, now explore the real reason behind that anger. Why are you angry in the very first place? Is it because the thing that you are angry of is something very important to you? Okay. Well, it has to be something very important to you because you're angry in the very first place. Okay. Remember, we don't dispense our emotion mindlessly and anyhow in any situation because it's precious. Okay. It's something that is important. You don't just lose it anyhow. Okay. So why are you angry in the very first place? Example, if someone told me that they are angry against me, then my thinking is that, okay, probably this person is putting some importance over me, or to me rather, importance to me. I might be important to this person, that's why he's angry to me. Okay, you get my point there. Okay, so you have to express the reason, the real reason behind that anger, and the real reason is not because of the other person or the situation. The real reason is always about you. Okay, it's always about you. It always go back to who you are. Okay, next, give yourself a reality check. When we talk about having a reality check when it comes to anger, in the grand scale of things, will it even matter? Okay, if you dispense your anger at the situation or to somebody else, okay, will it be more important, okay, to become angry than to be calm about it? Well, the answer lies to you. If the answer is yes, then by all means, go get angry. Okay. If you believe it's not, maybe you just have to, shake it off a little. Okay. And be assertive. Just talk to the person using the I statement and the sandwiched approach that I mentioned earlier. Okay. Now, If in the situation the anger is too much, take some time out and get some space and exercise if possible. Okay, take time out, because if you stay there, you might burst out. If it's possible for you to have an exercise, why not? Because we need that extra kick of endorphin in your body for you to get calm, okay, and be a little bit happy. Okay, of course, we all know about that endorphin and all those good neurotransmitters or hormones that our body secretes when we exercise. And once calm, express your anger using I statement when describing the problem, the one that I mentioned. So question, does it really have to be expressed? This anger, this big anger that I felt, okay, especially if it's against someone, do I really need to express it? Well, the answer there is yes. Okay, you always have to express whatever emotion that are feel brewing inside, no matter how good or bad it is. Okay, Sigmund Freud mentioned that unexpressed emotions will never die. Okay, it will just resurface someday in uglier ways. How do we know it's resurfacing? Okay, you're gonna have a lot of issues. You're gonna get angry with someone who is active in the class. You're gonna get angry with someone who looks like this person you got angry before years ago. Okay, all of those are issues left unexpressed, so you have to express them. Okay, believe me, it's taking care of your mental health. Okay, and last one, okay, for this, identify solution to the situation instead of holding a grudge. Okay, as we said, holding a grudge is like holding a burning coal you intend to throw to the person, but before you throw it to the person, you have already hurt yourself. Okay, you're already losing. Okay, the fight is not yet, the fight has not yet begun, but you already lose by holding that grudge. Okay, so next on nurturing relationship, I'm just running through this quite quickly so that you won't get um, uh, I hope you won't get not focused here in the situation. Okay. Now be proactive. What do we mean by being proactive in nurturing a relationship? Being proactive is that means always asking yourself what you can do better in the situation. Okay. For example, I have this experience in one of my experiences. Okay. In our office, I always like to wear something that is, beyond the normal. Actually, right now I'm wearing a kurta dress that I bought when I was there in India last year. Okay. I'm really loving this kurta that I'm wearing. Okay. And one day I came to our office and I wear something, out of the ordinary. And my colleague of mine looked at me fiercely and asked me, "Do you think that looks good on you?" She asked. And I said, "Of course I do." Okay. Because I wouldn't be wearing it if I believe I don't look in it. And then I asked her, "Why do you think I don't look at it in this attire?" And then she just told me, "Nothing." Hello? Okay. Am I okay?
So
Okay. By being proactive, that means you are trying to constantly improve yourself. You have to make the situation, you have to look at the situation beyond you, okay? But focus on what you can do better. So in that example, if say for example, that person told me, "You don't have to wear it like that, etc., etc." Then if I'm proactive the next time around, I'm not gonna wear it anymore. That's what we mean by being proactive. You use things to constantly improve yourself. Okay. Next, don't compete. Instead, challenge yourself. Okay. This is quite a cliche already, but this is true. Okay. To quote this famous singer, one of my favorites, Celine Dion. Okay. She said, "I am never in competition with anybody, but I always try to better my last performance." I think that's the best kind of competition, not with other people, but with yourself. Okay. And at least accept or at least tolerate people's individuality. The problem with other people is that they always have negative judgment against someone. Okay, that's because, okay, they cannot tolerate the individuality of that person. They cannot even accept the person for who they are. If we become more accepting, if we become more tolerating with other people about who they are, about what they are, probably we would have a better mental health, and not just you, even those people around you. Okay. And affirm other people passionately. Okay, this means always have good words for them. Okay. As they said, if you cannot say something good about someone, you better just shut your mouth. Okay, but if you have something good to tell, why not? So that the person will be affirmed. Okay, and be a good listener for quite a simple reason. Well, I remember this quotation that I heard from one of my colleagues when I started working. There is a reason why our physiology is like this, why our ear is closer to our head or to our brain than our mouth closer to our brain. It's because we have to listen first before we speak. Okay. And last, under promise but over deliver. Okay. That means you don't always tell to people, okay, I promise to you, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. But then when it comes and when it counts, you did not. Okay. Probably you just have some reservation in promising, but always deliver something, always do something for someone. Okay. That people, you don't know, but that person might feel a little, a little good about what you do. Probably that's what they need for them to go by. Okay, we do not know because we do not know what other people are carrying. If you believe yourself, if you believe that yourself is carrying a problem and people don't notice it, they don't know about it, well, I'm telling you now, other people feels the same way with you. Okay, so we have to be here not just helping ourselves to become better and to have a good flourishing mental health, but also to help others attain a flourishing mental health as well. Okay. Now, second to the last, I think, or third, positive thinking. Okay. Well, of course, always choose happiness. I mean, is there any other choice, better choice than happiness? Okay. Unless the situation demands unhappiness, like sadness, anxiety, depression. Okay. Then by all means, feel it. For example, you just lost someone, but let's hope not. Okay. Of course, you cannot feel happy by losing someone. Then by all means, be sad. No problem. But at the end of the day, you always have to choose happiness. Okay. Learn that there is always the other side of the coin. Okay. It might not make sense to you right now, okay, why it happened that way. Uh, Things do not always go our way, but okay, be assured that there's always the other side of the coin. It might not make sense to you right now, but someday it will. Okay, focus on what is good, what is left, and what is still there. Okay, someone might go away, okay, someone might have left you, okay, but definitely there's always someone, okay, that will be there. Who? Probably your friends. Now your friends left you, you still have your families. Now your families have left you as well, you still have yourself. Now how do you say that yourself is enough? Well, I don't know with whatever religious affiliation that we have, but we always have the higher purpose, if you get what I mean. Okay. Yeah. Next, live in the present moment. Okay. Do not dwell on the past. Okay. And do not focus on the future. Okay. In Kung Fu Panda, that animated film, it says there's a reason why today is called a present. Because yesterday, okay, was history. Okay. Tomorrow will be a mystery. And today is a gift. That's why it's called the present. Okay, that gives a lot of meaning. Okay, always live in the present moment. Okay, it's up to you. If you choose to define yourself by your previous experiences, by all means be it. Okay, but live in the present moment. Always be here and now. Okay. Next, surround yourself with positive people, of course, because people always try to put you down or uplift you, okay? You always have to stay with those who uplift you, okay? And make sure that you yourself is a positive one, okay? And last one for the positive thinking, let things be, okay? What do I mean let things be? There are things that are beyond our control. No matter how good your self-efficacy is, no matter how good you believe your effectiveness is, okay, things will always turn out the other way, okay, beyond your plan. Let things be, okay? There are things that we cannot control, okay, and I hope we develop some wisdom to realize what are these things that are actually beyond our control, and just let things be, okay? Now, second to the last, okay, developing spirituality. When I talk about spirituality from the lens of psychology, I'm not talking about religiosity per se. Okay, religiosity and spirituality could be related, but not always one and the same. Okay, like religiosity would be those experiences that you have in your religious affiliation. Spirituality is the meaning you put on those experiences. Okay, let us be clear of that. Okay, so religiosity is all about those things that you experience in your religion. Okay, and spirituality is the meaning and the purposes that you put in that. Okay, so how are we going to develop more spirituality? Anyway, when people can be spiritual but not religious, okay, but not all religious person are spiritual. Okay, let's make a clear distinction with that. Okay, let me say that again. You may be spiritual but not religious, and it's not constant that those religious people are spiritual. I know a lot of people who are religious but not spiritual, and I have a friend who is very spiritual but not religious at all. Okay, now if you are spiritual and religious at the same time, why not? Even better. Okay, first, know what is ultimately most important. I cannot stress what it would be for you, but by now you have to know what is most, okay, and what is ultimately most important to you. Is it yourself? Is it your family? Is it your God? Okay, is it your work? Is it your children? Is it your friends? I don't know. Okay, you have to know by now. Why? Because knowing what is most intimately important to you will be circling around your spirituality, because whatever you do in your life, it will be about this thing that is most ultimately important to you. So you have to know it, especially during these times. Okay, the COVID-19 pandemic gave us a lot of time to reflect. Okay, it gives us a lot of time to, you know, dig deep to who you are and be with yourself. Okay, so we have to help others develop that thing as well. Okay, next, look for deeper meanings in life. For whatever it is that happened to you have to develop this sense of purpose and meaning to what is actually, uh, to why it happened to you. Okay, look for deeper meanings. Okay, those meanings, it's actually you who will say it. Okay, someone will just guide you through it, but it's still you who would define it. Okay, explore places and travel. Okay, I have 3 asterisks here because I know due to the pandemic, okay, we cannot explore and travel places. Okay, because of the lockdowns, the quarantines that are happening. However, I still decide to put in here because exploring places and traveling do not have an alternative. Okay, I'm pretty sure majority of you here have already explored places and traveled through anywhere, okay? Anywhere in India, okay, or anywhere in the world. There is something magical in traveling that makes you discover who you are. That's what I mean there, okay? You know, you get to realize what is most important to you the moment you become away with it. Okay, you discover what you really want in your life the moment that you go away with the usual. And that's what we mean by exploring places and traveling. But I have some asterisks. Okay, probably we can just suspend it for now, at least with the pandemic. Okay, but when the pandemic is gone, maybe we can do some exploration as well. Okay, you know, I call myself Argel the Explorer because I always travel and go places, and that's where I think I develop a lot. Okay, and one of the best places that I have traveled to definitely is India. Okay, last year I really loved my stay there. I was there for 10 days, and it's not enough for me, but anyway, probably soon I will be there. I will be back there. Okay, and next, okay, I think this is the last part of developing spirituality. Practice forgiveness and gratitude. Okay, I know Indian culture is all about forgiveness and gratitude, and that's a good thing. Okay, sometimes, actually not sometimes, most of the time, you cannot develop, you cannot reach your fullest potential because first you cannot forgive who, others, and yourself, and you cannot be thankful to what you have. Okay, you have to start forgiving people. Okay, because you cannot attain forgiveness if you won't forgive them. After you forgive the people, or probably you have to forgive yourself first before you forgive other people. Okay, because you hate yourself for allowing these people do things that you did not like. Okay, that's why you cannot forgive them. Okay, probably you have to start forgiving yourself first. Okay, and be gratified, okay, with what you have. Okay, focus on what you have. Okay, and last one, okay, This is, I'm down to the last few slides, some meditation methods, okay? I think you can do a lot of meditation methods, definitely, but this is just some tip, okay? First, some breathing exercise, you know, the inhale, exhale thing, okay? You inhale and then count 1 to 3 before you exhale, okay? Why is it important? At times that you are stressed, at times that you are tensed, okay? One of the reasons biologically why you are tense is because your brain is lacking oxygenated blood. That's why it cannot process a lot of things all at the same time. So you have to breathe in and breathe out, okay? Next, repeat a mantra, okay? Of course, I cannot discuss this enough with all of you, okay? Repeating a mantra makes you focus on a situation. Whatever your mantra is, it could be Hakuna Matata, all is well, life is good. It's up to us, okay? If you need to meditate, meditation is difficult because your mind always wanders, okay? You really cannot focus because you think of one thing and then it leads to another, leads to something, and leads to a lot of things. That's why you cannot fully meditate, okay? So repeat your mantra, focus on your mantra, okay? So you can meditate further. Engage in a prayer, okay? I think I don't need to discuss this anymore. There is something, I'm a Christian anyway, I'm a Roman Catholic, okay? And I'm pretty sure a lot of religions practice some kind of prayers. And there is something relaxing about prayer, okay? That's why you have to. And last one, take time to reflect, okay? Reflection is, I think this is the best tool if you want to develop yourself to become a better person, okay? Reflection is very important, especially nowadays during this COVID-19 pandemic. Why? It's because you have to discover the things that still need improvement to who you are. Always try to reflect. In my case, this has been my practice for quite a year now, for how many years already, okay? Before I go to bed or while showering before going to bed, I always have a question that I ask myself. Okay, and I try to answer. Okay, that question came from a song. Okay, the song is called "Proud." It goes with the lyrics, "What have you done today to make you feel proud?" Okay, and I make sure every day I ask myself that, what have I done today to make me feel proud? That is my daily reflection. Okay, and for today, I already have my answer. What have I done today to make me feel proud? Well, this with all of you. Okay, that's for sure. Okay, so yeah, that's the rest of my taking care of your mental health. These are my references for those things that I have shared. Okay, and just to share with you, this is my upcoming book project. Those things that I discussed with you about taking care of your mental health is included in this book of mine, The Mental Health, Same World, Different View Towards a Flourishing Well-Being. I intend to publish this after the quarantine has been lifted in our place. So right now, I haven't published it yet, but very soon I will. Okay. So now, one last question before I finally, before I'm finally over. How are you feeling right now? Anyone who
Two.
would like? Oh, two. Okay, I'm happy with.
Two. One. Sir, one. Sir. One.
I'm happy with one and two.
One, 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 one,
Anyone with four
one.
or five?
One.
One.
Two.
One. One, sir.
Two.
One. Very
One.
Two.
One. One.
Thank you. Thank you.
One.
I am really
Very
happy
one,
with that.
one.
a very informative session. Thank
I am very happy. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
two.
Okay, so to end my presentation, yeah, I'm happy that you are on the 1, 2, 3. Okay, and that's what we want. I'm really happy with this. Thank you so much, Dr. Takur, Dr. Parit, and the rest for inviting me for this. Okay, and I'd like to end my presentation with a quotation. It says here, if you want to know where your heart is, you have to look where your mind goes when it wanders. And that's the beauty of psychology. It always go back to your mind. Okay, you want to have a good heart, you have to have a good mind. Okay, and I hope I was able to share something worthwhile for everyone. Okay, thank you so much for participating. Thank you. Thank you.
Honored, sir. Truly honored.
Thank you so much, sir. Very interesting and very.
Thank you so much, sir.
Madam,
Govind sir, kindly mute
Thank you
everybody.
very much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Can we proceed?
Thank you so much, sir.
Yes. Mental health influences how you think, feel, and behave. Being mentally healthy is much more important than being free from anxiety and depression. Thank you so much, Dr. Masanda, for helping us to build better mental health. Thank you so much. And I also wish you all the best for your publication of a book which is coming up. We will now go for a few questions, sir. I would request Girish sir to come up with the questions if there are any in the question box.
Okay, thank you, madam. There are too many questions asked by the participants, but we will tackle a couple of them.
Yes,
Dr. Argel Masanda, some participants have raised questions like these. The first question is, what will be the end of this current COVID-19 pandemic situation and where we all be standing after this situation?
Okay, thank you for that question. Can you say it again, the first one, the first line?
The first
What
question
are?
is, what will be the result of pandemic situation and where we all be standing after COVID-19 pandemic is under control?
Okay. Yeah, thank you. So where will be? Okay. Just like what we mentioned earlier, we are expecting at least 3 waves. Okay. The first wave would be the physical health crisis. The second wave would be the economic crisis, and the third is the mental health crisis. Now, after this pandemic, what will we become? Okay. Well, just like what I said, and what's like I am trying to emphasize, it depends on you. Okay, it depends on you as a person. What will you become after this pandemic? Okay, actually, I want to ask that question to everyone. Okay, because it's not the government who will tell us what we will become. It's not our parents, it's not our husbands or wives, it's not our children, it is us. Okay, who will decide who will become after this? Will you become a better person, or will you become a person with a mental health crisis? Okay, either way, you have to do something about it, because the power of choosing is something, something that cannot be taken away from you. So you can always choose to become better or worse. It all up to you. Okay, but with this, I really hope that we decide to become better. Okay, we can always do something to become better. That's the truth. Okay, to give you something, I mean, I don't want to brag about it, but the book that I told you that I am publishing, okay, soon, well, I just finished that during the pandemic. Okay, that's how I become productive. Okay, plus I did some. This is my 6th webinar so far, the second international that I had. Okay, meaning you can always do something. So to answer it, it's actually you who will decide what will become after. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. One more question is there. What is
Sure.
the what is the relationship between psychological health and domestic violence?
Oh, okay. And the domestic violence. Okay. That's a good question. Well, also here in the Philippines and even in abroad, I'm not so sure in India, but I think it's also true in India. Domestic violence has risen because of this pandemic. Okay. Because people are now quarantined in their houses. Okay. Domestic violence, the rate of domestic violence shoot up. Okay. And the question is, what's the relationship, right? Okay, relationship between psychology and domestic violence, a big one. Okay, there's a big relationship between them. If you are living in a home with domestic violence, your psychological well-being will definitely be affected, and you won't achieve a flourishing sense of mental health. Okay, if you're experiencing domestic violence, so what can you do? Well, you have to reach out with authorities, with the government, okay, with the police. Okay, you have to report something to the authorities, so that you can do something proactive about the situation. Only after the experience of domestic violence that you can improve yourself. Okay, yeah, I hope I was able to answer that. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you. There are too many questions, but due to time constraint, we are winding this question answer session. Thank you,
Sure.
sir. Over to Dr. Leena Mishra.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Yes,
you.
of course, we should turn obstacles into opportunities, and that's what you have suggested us, sir. Thank you so much. So, the happiness of the organization has no bounds. When an event is graced by such an eminent speaker and nearly 500 audience on Zoom and 300 audiences on YouTube. So, with this, we have come to the end of the webinar, and I thank the organizers for giving me the opportunity to propose vote of thanks. I express my sincere thanks to Mr. Argil Masanda for accepting our invitation and giving us the opportunity to hear you. So your presentation was very excellent. It was eye-catching. I could not take off my eyes from each of your slides. And
Thank you, ma'am.
most important, the suggestions you have given us for flattening the curve of mental health. I hope everybody will get some or the other thing from this presentation and from your lecture. I also thank Honorable Principal Dr. Ganesh Thakur sir for his constant support, motivation for organizing the webinar. He's been like a family in the crisis situation. I also extend my gratitude to the distinguished guests, academicians, research scholars who are connected to us globally through the platforms. I thank the members of the organizing committee, Mr. S.L. Govind sir, IQAC coordinator, Dr. Parit, head of psychology department, for giving us the opportunity to attend such a webinar. And last but not the least, the technical team. I thank Dr. Girish sir and my colleagues for their continuous support and helping us throughout the webinar. Once again, I thank all the participants for joining us. Stay home, stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. It's my pleasure and honor. Definitely.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.